All right, guys. Well, check it out. So, welcome back to A2Z Movie Night. We have a new show for you with a new format. This is called A2Z Movie Roundtables. And what this is, it's going to be a show where we explore a genre by the crew going around. We make picks, and we have to defend our picks. Let's go ahead and take up our Jameson. Let's do it just like we do in the movie nights. Let's cheers.
Happy Valentine's Day.
Happy Valentine's Day.
We're doing this one.
Okay, so tonight, what we're doing is romantic comedies. You know, big, really nice genre. It's very open. It's very broad. It's not very niche. So our picks are probably going to be all over the place, you guys. And we make picks based on a few criteria. We make picks on its iconic nature, how pervasive it is in its genre. It can be masterfully done. It can be underrated. It can be nostalgic, or it can just be special to you for some various reason, which you'll have to explain to us.
Yeah.
Right?
But a romantic comedy, it has to be like boy meets girl, ends up with girl. They overcome challenges. That's a romantic comedy, right?
It has to be a comedy first. It can't be a romantic drama. And then also the main plot has to center around two people getting together. That's what a romantic comedy is.
Yeah,
All right?
the two people on the poster have to be together by the end of the movie.
Hence the romance.
Yeah.
I hope they make it.
So my pick tonight, I picked my movie based on how underrated it is. It kind of came out in theaters. It didn't make much of a splash. It's really quirky. It's weird. And I don't think anyone else is going to pick it. That's another thing, too, about this is I want to pick something I don't think... Because we don't know what each other are picking, right?
Yeah.
We haven't discussed this beforehand.
We have not talked about this together.
It's part of the fun. So what my pick is Nick and Norahs Infinite Playlist.
Oh.
I thought it was Splash.
That's
I was
a
trying
good
to
one.
pick up hints, yeah.
It's Nick and Norahs Infinite Playlist. What we're going to do is, Zach, pull up that trailer. Everybody, we're going to get a chance because a lot of you probably haven't ever seen this movie.
I've never seen it.
Yeah.
I've seen it.
You've seen it?
About a year ago.
Yeah,
I didn't know if I would, but...
So here is Nick and Nora's Infinite Playlist. You want to talk about the cast
Yeah,
and stuff?
so-
Who's... I mean, I knew he was in it. Who's the love interest in this?
It's Kat Dennings. You know Kat Dennings, the girl from, like, Two Broke Chicks? And
okay.
Thor the
Okay,
Dark
yeah.
World. She's like the intern, like from all the Thor movies. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. She was in Thor.
Yeah, she's that really big boobied actress.
She got big boobs?
Yeah, it's kind of her shtick.
That's kind of her whole thing.
That's kind of her whole thing.
like
They certainly go through
how
no...
glasses are Zooey Deschanel's whole thing.
Yeah, and bangs, yeah.
They go through no effort to hide those things in that Two Broke Girls.
Right.
So what is the trope in this? They were best friends, but he really loves her, and she just thinks they're just good friends?
No, not at all.
thing?
Actually, they don't even really know each other. It's kind of a serendipitous sort of thing.
I still don't know what the fuck this movie is about halfway through the trailer.
You're not supposed to. Michael Cerator's character is like hung up on his ex, who tortures him by following around, and Kat Dennings is hung up on him because this is a musical movie. It's about people that are like indie music snobs, and she finds like all of his mixes he's giving to his ex. So it's kind of like she wants him and he wants his ex, and they go on this trip. This is another one of those genres of
Road
24-hour.
Yeah.
No, it's all within New York, like Manhattan.
So they fall in love
Where
without...
they're trying to find this band, right? And an interesting thing is there's so many people in this movie from like the 2000s era's comedies. There's like half of the SNL cast from the time because it's all in New York.
Wow.
And dude, I'm just a huge fan of Michael Cera.
That's a good pick.
I love Michael Cera. Kat Dennings is really charming. And one reason why I like this movie is because it's really what's the word I'm trying to look for? It's really juvenile, but not in a bad way. It's juvenile, like it really it makes me think about the times where we were young.
A little more innocent, perhaps.
Yeah, and like this scene was really built up, you know, and we were all going to shows like Crockett Street Tequila Rock and stuff like that, and we were all snobs and we were stupid just like everybody in this movie.
So it's kind of nostalgic for you too.
It's kind of nostalgic for me too, but
for the time that it came out.
It's really underrated and it's really fun, and it kind of makes me feel young, and it's really innocent too. There's
Is it
like
a tearjerker?
No, not at all.
No, it didn't look like
not
one.
at all. It's not. It's good, innocent fun. You know what I mean? I highly suggest it if you want a light movie, if you don't want something that you have to like pay attention to often, but good sets, good cast,
Good soundtrack.
good soundtrack, and
Doesn't
and good
have any of
comedy,
those
too.
mopey moments that are in these movies that make you just
Michael
go,
Cera's in it.
Jesus Christ.
Michael Cera's in it, yeah. But
Yeah.
it's got the best soundtrack too. That's the other part of this movie is it's got like all those indie bands from the late 2000s, early 2010s. It's got like Band of Horses in there, like Portishead, like all that stuff is all up in there. So for all those reasons, that's my pick. Zach, what's up? What's yours?
Well, keeping in line with the talk about great indie bands from the mid to early 2000s, my pick.
What reason?
Ooh,
What reason are you picking it?
Prop.
Mostly because the music's really good. It's shot really good. It's a movie that I'm nostalgic about for so many ways because it's just like a throwback to a different time and a different place in my life. And it is the movie Garden State.
Oh, dude.
This is me and Aaron's bromance movie, by the way.
That's another one I have not seen.
Yeah, this is our bromance movie. It's
Let's
beautiful.
Let's play the trailer.
Yeah, let's play this trailer.
I know that a lot of people do speak very highly of that film, though.
It actually holds up pretty well. It kind of fits to that like kind of almost fish out of water. It's more of a coming of age kind of thing, a little bit. But the soundtrack, like
The Postal Service.
fuck.
My pick is the soundtrack is heavily in the one too. I like that. That's kind of a motif.
Seems to be a theme.
Because didn't Zach Braff like write and direct this or something? Yeah.
I think it was his first movie.
Are you really retarded?
What year was this?
2004.
You think he's still doing Scrubs at this point?
I think
Most
so.
definitely, most
I think so.
2004. Yeah.
Yeah, because like he was like really popular with Scrubs and he did a few like big movies, but then it kind of like
He wasn't a
Kinda
leading man.
and then he kind of fell off the map. It seemed like.
Yeah.
So.
He can. Because this movie, I don't think was a very big success. People loved it,
Yeah,
like
it's-
they speak highly of it, but
Kind of a cult classic, I think.
yeah, at
An
the
instant
time
cult classic.
it didn't really.
This trailer is like heavy, dude.
Yeah, I mean
Yeah.
it's a pretty heavy movie.
Peter Skarsgård,
Fucking
Ian
they
Holm.
got Bilbo in there, you know.
Holy shit, Ian Holm. This is very melodramatic.
Yeah, it's like almost that moody mid 2000s kind of atmosphere. So yeah, that's my pick, and it's basically like it's a dude's chick flick. It talks about like being in your like nothing years in your late 20s, and also discovering love, but also changing what love is, learning, growing, accepting things, all this stuff, but it has that love story within it. But it's also a beautifully directed and shot art house film. There's a lot of really cool set pieces. There's really great dark humor in there. Like he meets one of his friends because he's at his mom's funeral and he sees them by the backhoe. And he's like, yeah, we'll see you after we bury your mom. It's like it's just a great movie. It has great humor. And it's as far as like romantic comedies go, it's probably it's super acceptable. Like if you have to watch a movie with your significant other and you want it to be something that she's going to be kind of like at the end of, this would be that movie without sacrificing too much.
Okay,
And this is the first movie we ever watched together.
really?
Yeah, I went over to
On
his
my
house
futon.
and I was like, "What you doing?" And he was like, "I'm about to watch Garden State." And I
15
just sat down
years
and
ago.
we just
I want to hear more about that later.
Yeah. Who's touching who?
I
We
feel like
touched
there's a,
thighs maybe.
I think there's
A
a,
little
so.
thigh touching.
I think there's a great
I
love
think
story right there.
I think we went to Ando's afterwards.
Yeah.
Fucking A.
So we've gone from a more lighthearted
Yeah.
rom-com to a more serious rom-com that talks about depression. It's good.
Yeah. Well, David, you're next in line. So tell us why you made your pick.
Well, it's vastly different. And the reason I went with it is because it does follow the very classic formula that I stated earlier. Guy meets girl, actually came specifically to a place to meet a girl, falls in love, tries to win her over, finally just about does, fucks up, but then ultimately wins her back. And this movie is called Coming to America
Oh my God.
because he did in fact come to America to find her.
I brought this up earlier.
You did.
It's a wonderful
But
film.
it does fit the.
It is a rom-com.
Hit the trailer.
Hit that trailer.
Oh,
We've all
this
seen it,
is
but
gonna
let's
be the
do
best
it.
trailer we watch. They're working on
Because this is an 80s trailer, first of all, so it's going to be a lot shorter.
He just announced too that they finished filming the sequel.
Oh no.
Yeah,
I don't know.
it's called Coming the Number 2
Yeah.
America.
It's going to be great, though.
Eddie,
Oh, it's
Murphy,
gonna be-
Eddie Murphy and Dolomite.
He
was
said
like,
everybody is
he's
back.
back.
Yeah, he said he's got everybody. The original cast is all back.
You know, even the trailer is really indicative of it being a romantic comedy because in the very beginning they set it up and he's like, "Why can't I find my wife?" Like that's all it's
Yeah.
about is the relationship. Yeah,
Yeah, he
Yeah, that's the reason he goes to America is to find a wife.
it's all about the relationship. Yeah,
Yep.
A lot of people don't remember.
and this is the second movie tonight where it all takes place in New York.
Aha.
New York's the city of love, right? And that's its catchphrase. New York.
Oh
city of
well,
love.
Garden State was in New Jersey, so it's like right down
It's
the road.
across
Yeah, weird.
across the river. Yeah.
Weird. City of romance.
McDowell's.
And then someone stated earlier the trope about her being with someone else.
Yeah.
It's like,
Yeah.
oh, God, I wish she would just.
I hope she sees that the nice guy's there. I love every scene that takes place in the barber shop in this film, where he
It's
plays
the
like
best.
every character.
Oh my god. It's the
Yeah,
best.
yeah. Well, him and Arsenio both play it, including a white guy, which I didn't realize
well,
until years
like
An
a
later.
old,
super
an old
white
Jewish,
guy.
an old Jewish white guy. Yeah.
Aha.
And then of course, yeah,
Oh yeah. And
Yeah.
Arsenio Hall plays a big woman too.
yeah.
Looking
And your
good.
friend too. Spit take.
You want to keep working here. Stay off the drugs.
Yeah.
Yes.
Great first impressions.
It was one of the first movies Samuel L. Jackson was in too.
Yeah, he's the
robbed the McDowells.
That's the most romantic comedy of the romantic comedies we picked.
as
so
far
far.
as fitting every trope.
Yeah, I mean, and Eddie Murphy actually wrote it, didn't direct it though. And I just, there's a scene in that where he goes to a restaurant with the one he's in love with, their friends at this point, and she asks him to dance, and he's just like, well, why wouldn't you want to dance with Daryl? And she said, I'm here with you because I want to be here with you. And I watched it recently and I got choked up. I was just like, oh my God, it's it's so romantic. I don't know. I thoroughly enjoy it. And I like that it's heavy on the comedy too. And then that, Eddie and Arsenio get to really cut loose with those
Oh yeah.
Those
extra
bits,
characters.
yeah.
Yeah.
Did you notice that the rich guys from Trading Places is also
Yeah,
in there
yeah,
too?
it's tied to Trading Places.
The
That's
same
right.
director.
yeah,
Yeah,
same universe.
you see them on the side of the street or whatever. They're bums now. Is that right?
Mm-hmm.
So why exactly, like, which one of these criteria is it for you? Is it iconography?
It's definitely iconic, I think. And it fits the mold pretty well. I
Okay,
think.
so it's like really just sort of indicative of the genre. Like if you say, what is a romantic comedy, you would point to this and be like, this has everything in it that a romantic comedy should.
Yes, and it's also from the 80s, the era in which I was born. So, it's playing a lot on television when I was
It's
a
the most
child.
romantic decade, right? Yeah,
Absolutely.
for sure. All right, man. Well, that's a really solid pick. I'm glad you picked it. Me and Tim were even talking about it before you guys came in, and he looked up a list, and that was really high on a lot of the lists. And
That's not one you would normally think would be.
I didn't even think of it, to be honest with you. So I love the format of this show, what we're doing, and how each one of these picks are so different because we all have these different brains. We're all like thinking differently. So Tim, what
So
about
what's
you, man?
Tim's brain
Yeah.
like?
Yeah.
Jesus.
Well,
I cannot wait.
I had a couple, but I picked this one because if I was to watch any one of the ones that I had on my short list, it would be this one, and I want to watch it right now. It has a fucking great soundtrack for the time. It's a little dated because of the time. There's certain genres of music that were very popular. There's even one of the main bands even makes an appearance in the movie.
Is it Purple Rain?
It follows the whole. It's kind of a coming of age story a little bit too.
Oh my God.
It's a girl looking for love and failing over and over again, just
Cocktails?
picking the wrong guys, and getting her heart
Sex in
broke.
the City, the movie?
And realizing that the guy that was right for her was
Aliens.
there the
Stop
whole
trying to pick it.
the guy that was right for her the whole time was there, right in front of her face. And the movie is Clueless.
Oh my God, Tim.
Yes. Clueless.
That makes sense.
Paul Rudd, he's right in front
Shut
of her.
up. Just shut up.
It's the guy that she would never want to date because he's totally not her type. I fucking love this movie, man. And my
called it? Not me.
listeners,
Not me.
my listeners right now are agreeing with me.
Yes, absolutely.
You all love this movie.
I would have
Look at
never.
us.
I fell in love with Alicia Silverstone. Paul Rudd had only done like Halloween 4, I think, at this point.
Yeah.
He was very, very new.
Oh, and that SNES commercial too.
Yeah. And fucking Stacey Dash is fucking fine as hell in this movie. Of course,
Brittany
our
Murphy.
introduction to Brittany Murphy.
Holy shit, that was Brittany Murphy.
Yeah, who went on to become a very big romantic comedy girl
And then die.
and then died.
At 27.
Yeah.
But Stacey Dash, holy crap, man, those fucking blue eyes and that, oh God, I had the hots for her. Probably more so than Alicia Silverstone.
Than anyone else in the movie, actually, yeah.
Yeah, she's hotter than Alicia Silverstone.
Oh, look how 90s this movie is.
It's so
with that-
90s.
Look
Dude,
at the
well,
font.
when I said the soundtrack, there's a lot of ska and shit in the soundtrack. The Mighty Mighty Boss tones
Pick
and
it
shit.
up, man. Pick it up.
But see,
Oh, it had
it's-
Turk. That's right.
Yeah,
it had Turk.
Yeah, yeah.
From,
Zach Braff was in your movie and Turk's in mine.
I think that means it is all connected.
It is all connected. I just wrapped it up pretty nice. Put a bow on it. See, that guy ends up being gay. Like
Yeah.
she keeps picking the wrong guys. You're a supermodel. Every girl I knew in high school had this fucking CD.
Including
Yeah.
you.
I might have listened to it a couple of times.
No Paul Rudd. Where's Paul
He
Rudd?
was right
He's
there.
right there.
He was kissing
Oh,
on
okay.
the stairs, yeah.
Yeah, see, it's the guy that was there the whole time, but he's the nerdy homebody, and they despise each other because their personalities are so opposite. So of course they're gonna end up together at the end of the movie.
Yeah.
Rolling with the homies.
The fashion is so.
Well, there goes your social life.
Wow! Look at that
Coolio.
Coolio, mighty smoking popes.
Wow.
And Amy Heckerling directed that, who also went on to direct.
Mean
Nothing
Girls?
important.
No,
She
I can't
directed
remember.
Fast Times at Ridgemont
That's
High.
it's Fast Times at
Oh.
Ridgemont
Yeah,
High. That's
before,
right.
yeah.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
Wow, Tim,
But
that was-
I picked that because if I was going to watch one, that would be the one. It's a fun movie. It's probably a little dated now, but it's got a good soundtrack that when you watch that movie, you're taken back to that time.
That time, yeah.
1996 or whatever.
And it is a classic. I mean,
Yeah,
Clueless
you're
is-
transported right back to that time. It made her a fucking huge star, and then she just dropped off like 4 years later, like nothing. Batman and Robin was probably a little responsible for that. But I mean, yeah, it's just a fun rom-com. I mean, they end up together and she lives happily ever after with the right guy that for her, that kind of brings her back down to earth, and she learns.
Wasn't Paul Rudd kind of like her stepbrother though?
Yeah.
I think it was her
There's
stepbrother.
a little bit of
in
a
the-
stepbrother thing going on.
Yeah,
very,
that's
very,
Fine.
very much.
This day and age, that's
Very much not related by blood. though.
So are you telling me right now that Clueless is responsible for the current trends on Pornhub?
Yeah.
And that's all we needed to know, ladies
all
and
we
gentlemen.
needed.
Jesus.
I don't know what you guys are talking
But,
So
about.
that's the 4, right?
Well, yeah, that's the 4. But like these were A to Z's romantic comedy nights. So obviously, listeners, these weren't expecting us to say Sleepless in Seattle and When Harry Met Sally, which are obviously the classics. My runner-up was actually Princess Bride,
Yeah,
which is a
absolutely.
class for nostalgia reasons. But there's so many. I mean, all the Woody Allen movies, Manhattan, just for George Gershwin's music in Manhattan, all the Woody Allen and Diane Keaton, Annie Hall,
Right.
and then of course all the
Je t'aime. Yeah.
Tom Hanks and Meg Ryan.
My runner-up would be When Harry Met Sally.
Yeah,
See, that's
I thought that was a
that's
great one.
classic one. Yeah,
I think in this first round that we did, I think we all kind of thought about it and we just sort of curved all those super iconic ones. Like all the ones that were staring you, glaring in the face, like When Harry Met Sally or Sleepless in Seattle, for
Obvious,
instance, or
yeah.
any of those super obvious ones you've got male type
Runaway
of thing.
Bride, Julia
Yeah,
Roberts,
yeah.
Anything.
the whole list of Julia
Made
Roberts.
in
yeah.
Manhattan.
Can't Buy Me Love was my runner.
Oh,
That's a great
that's
one,
a
too.
That's a good
That's
one.
a really
like
good
that
one.
film.
Yeah, I love that movie.
That's a really good one. Or 16 Candles, those John Hughes movies. Like I said in the beginning, this is an extremely open genre, right? So rom-coms are one that's slightly open to debate about what really constitutes it. There is some mechanics in that have to fit in there, but hopefully later on in this show, as we continue with this format and explore it, we can start throwing in some really niche sort of genres like buddy cop movie. There's not really a lot of overlap with that, you know what I mean? Or
Those are narrower playing fields.
Or like the
Rom-com
road
was
trip.
just
That's
fucking-
big. We chose this one because this is our first outing, and I think we did great. I think I like all of our picks. We made our picks based on its iconic nature, its genre-defining moment, it being underrated, unknown, and I think we all picked these because they're not as formulaic as most rom-coms.
Yeah.
We stayed away from the early Matthew McConaughey Failure
Yeah.
to Launch.
Yeah.
Like
How
Tom
to Lose a
Hanks.
Guy in 10 Days.
Yeah, like
Wedding
Tom
Planner.
Hanks and Splash and
Yeah.
You've got some
know,
really out there ones, like Requiem for a Dream, is It's pretty left field rom-com.
I wanted Geely. That's
Yeah,
another good
Geely.
one.
Oh yeah, I think that was rated super highly.
That was a good one.
All right, so wrapping up.
Yeah, so we're gonna wrap it up. Anyway, this has been kind of our pilot episode for this formula, for this new format, this A to Z movie roundtable discussions. If you guys like what we're doing here, make sure that you comment, like leave a comment.
Yeah.
Get involved.
Tell us what your pick was.
Yeah, exactly. In the comments below, tell us what you would have picked if you wanted a rom-com.
What's your favorite rom-com?
Why, based on the criteria that we stated, why you would pick it. And then also tell us below, like, a genre you want us to explore. You know what I mean? If you want to see us sit around and talk about this, and maybe you want like a crooked cop goes straight, like, or anything like that. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
you guys let us know. And for all of us, for the A to Z Movie Night crew, let's give one last cheers.
Happy
Pick up your glass.
Valentine's.
Happy Valentine's Day, guys.
If you were looking for something to watch,
yeah, good picks on these rom-coms.
cheers.
All
We
right.
love you.
Yeah, we love you, and we'll see you next time. See you on the next episode.
No, these idiot kids.
All you history buffs listening, you know what I'm talking about. You got that reference,
I mean, he just laid down on a slab and pissed down there. That's a great one, Tim. I got nothing. That's a great one. Good night, ladies and gentlemen.
He's like, my name's Zach Bowman, and you know, I just really like movie too. It had nothing to do with my.
And he drank every day starting at 10 o'clock.